If you put your money in, you might never get it back. I'm going to lose a lot of money over 10 years, at least $1 billion. But in the end, it will be great.
What type of investors went for that?
Yeah. Then I flew back with a $300 million. And then
How many employees did you have?
One was me.
Meet Robert Wessman, the serial entrepreneur behind $7 billion pharmaceutical companies, founder of Alvotech, and topic of 3 Harvard Business School case studies.
You've built 7 different companies.
6 of those 7 exceeded $1 billion in value. First business you build, people relate that a bit to a luck.
There's no luck there.
But then I don't remember anything. I see on the Garmin I went from 48 kilometers down to 0 in 0.0 seconds. So I woke up in the ambulance. I was pretty sure I was not going to make it.
What was the chances of you being completely paralyzed?
It was to survive not being paralyzed or dead was maybe 1%. If the angle of my head would have been 1 or 2 degrees up and down, I would have ripped my head off.
You had the 2008 financial crash. How did losing a large proportion of your fortune, how did you come back from that?
It's a little bit like my accident. I could not change it. I could not. My focus was getting the shovel and dig the hole and start building Alvotech.
And I've got time for one more question, Robert. Have you had a period where the external narrative is very negative?
It's a very good question. I don't know if I can say it here. I'm still going to say it. Fuck it.
Hello and welcome to Leading Beyond the Lab. Today I have the pleasure of being joined by Robert Wessman, founder of Alvotech, a biotechnology company with one of the world's most ambitious biosimilars platforms. Robert first built a global generics empire in his 30s, lost much of his fortune in the 2008 financial crash, and then started again, this time with a bold new mission, to make biologic medicines accessible to far more people around the world. Biologics are some of the most powerful medicines that we have today, treating everything from cancer to autoimmune disease, but they are also some of the most expensive in the healthcare industry. Did you know that 97% of our listeners are not subscribed to the Leading Beyond the Lab podcast channel? Be sure to hit subscribe to make sure that new episodes with the guests and companies that we're talking to land straight into your feed. Thank you. So, Robert, Alvotech has a growing pipeline, 5 marketed biosimilars on the market at the moment. So let's start there then. So what is the need, or how urgent is the need today to expand global access to biosimilars?
It's a very good question. I mean, if you look at the pharmaceutical market today, it's $1.5 trillion, and around 40% is biologics. We, of course, all know that those medications are much more effective than the small molecules. And we are also seeing that in phase 2, phase 3, 60% of new molecules are biologics. So
60%. Wow.
60%.
Yeah.
And if you look at the cost of biologics treatment, it can easily cost $70, $80, $90, up to $100,000 per patient per year. And that's
globally or just in?
No. It's if you look at the pricing in US, it's usually up to 5 to 10 times higher than the rest of the world. So US is basically funding all the R&D.
Yes, yeah.
But I mean, overall, these are the numbers you can be seeing easily, and it's not affordable for any healthcare system to maintain patients on biologics, which are costing this much. When you see that 40% of the $1.5 trillion are basically biologics, most likely heading towards 50-60% in next 10 to 20 years. So we kind of live hand in hand. You have the innovation, which takes up to 10 years, and they have 10 years on the market with their patents to get the investment back. But then we have the healthcare systems, which needs biosimilars. Otherwise, patient could not be receiving those treatments or any new treatments. So I see it as we need to live together, if you will. The new innovation is needed to cure diseases which we don't have cure, or we want to improve the cure. And then you have the access issue, which is in my kind of backyard or in my wheelhouse, and that's basically helping people to be treated on those highly effective but expensive treatment and medication, if you will.
Yeah, and so what was the brainchild then to start?
Yeah, I mean,
Alvotech?
how this all started. I mean, it's I started to think about biosimilars back 2002. I've built 7 global companies, and they are all in opening up access, both generics and biosimilars, including brands. So back in time, 2002, we saw that.
So when did you start your first company? Sorry,
1999.
So in that space of time, you've built successfully and sold or had an event with 7 different companies.
Yeah, basically it's all greenfield. Part of it is brownfield,
Yeah.
meaning very small businesses. And so we scaled it up. 6 of those 7 exceeded $1 billion in value, so 6 unicorns.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit shy to say that the 7th one was sold for $750 million. But I think I will be forgiven for that one. But
Not
I mean,
bad CV.
yeah, exactly. So overall, I mean,
Just to delve into that point, that is an incredible achievement. I mean,
yeah,
that is the definition of a serial entrepreneur, isn't it?
no, it is. And I mean, first business you build successfully, people sometimes relate that a bit to a luck.
Yeah.
So maybe it was the environment
There's
and
no luck
this
there.
and that. And believe it or not, I mean, I was one of the entrepreneurs in the generic industry. I'm 56, and I started 1999 with only 99 employees. I built out a company called Actavis into 80 countries, and when I left, it had 16,500 employees, 25 manufacturing sites. We had one of the strongest R&D in the world, 3rd biggest in the world. And I started 29, and I started the second rounds when I was 37.
Yeah. So I'm really intrigued by, in each of those 7 scenarios, do you take the same formula and apply it to all of the businesses?
Always.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, high level, it is always the
Yeah.
same. You need to think about the portfolio. So how are you going to build a portfolio which is needed? Portfolio which will open access, because if it's highly competitive already, it's already covered. You don't need to open any access. So if you take a complex molecule which is still on patent, you basically develop it as a biosimilar or generics, and you bring it to market first. That's where the need is and when the need is. So the portfolio is the same approach I do. The quality of the operation is the same approach. The team is the same, building out the team. Becoming a preferred partner, because you need to be a preferred partner to your clients.
Yeah.
You need to be having something to offer. The proposition need to be strong. And in the end, you need to have amazing culture and a team. So overall, I mean, I have had many discussions, not only in the pharma industry, and you can apply it to everything. And I have the honor to be very often in Harvard. They have few Harvard cases written about my companies and myself.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sitting very often with a totally different industry, global industries, global businesses, which are, top 300 in the world, talking about my approach to it, and it applies to everything.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the devil is in the details.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? Because what really stands out to me is you've achieved all of that whilst keeping the primary hubs in Iceland, which is a more remote location when it comes to talent generation and things like that.
Yeah.
So you kind of kept it, you contributed to the economy and everything else whilst contributing to the healthcare sector. So when you describe it then, it all sounds quite normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas I work with companies in biotech or investors, and they always go for an unmet need, or they always go for a new molecule.
Yeah.
But you're saying it as if that's the thing you do. But there must be some other secret source that.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say it, because most people say this cannot be it. This cannot be it. But then it's about how you actually do it. And in the old days, like Actavis was a public company from 1999 to 2007. And so our annual reports were out there. And I was not shy to describe what I was doing, what was the vision and all that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't care. Because I knew that even though someone would read it, they have to execute, they have to have the right team, they have to understand the business to be able to do it. So I was never shy to share it, because it's then about the team you have, how you manage to execute, how you manage to make sure that you are not average in those elements I mentioned, but you are the best. And then you really need to pay attention to what you're doing. I mean, many of my global companies have had businesses in over 90 countries, and the service level we are looking always at is best in class. It's like you're delivering goods in 90 countries within a given period of time which you specify, and you need to hit that timeline in our companies 99% of the time.
Okay.
So it's not like we just use those phrases and then we figure out and we wait and see what happens. It's really down to the details, because if you want to do that, you need to the service level. You need to master the supply chain. You need to understand your capacity today and how it's going to evolve. The team which is working for you in the manufacturing and all that. So you have to break it down to all the details, and then you need to execute.
Yeah, and you must build a culture.
Yeah.
Of perfection.
Yeah.
And conscientiousness and
it's
values.
I mean, you can imagine. So we are in Iceland with Alvotech.
Yeah.
Actavis was built out of Iceland also, which was the first one I took global. So Iceland is a nation with less than 400,000 people.
And half of them have been employed by you.
Yeah. And when I'm asked how many people live in Iceland, I kind of tend to say less than 1 million. It sounds better than 380.
Yeah.
So Actavis back in time was the first global pharma company there. And so it was not a lot of experience when it comes to manufacturing pharmaceuticals, GMP, quality and all that. When I decided on Alvotech, I knew it would be much more difficult to build that company out of Iceland, to be honest, because the access to people knowing the business, knowing the industry, was next to nil.
Just biologics.
Yeah. And I knew if I would go to different countries like Germany or other places where at least you have biologics, you have CMOs and other similar companies, you could attract people. So today we have in Iceland people from 60 nations. So it's almost like a United Nations, because we had to pick and choose people which would fit what we needed, what we were missing. And then the challenge was, of course, to bring them to Iceland. So now you have a company with 1,500 employees, majority or most of them in Iceland, with from 60 different countries, and coming from different industry, different religion, different company cultures. So you need to kind of combine them. So we all know that culture forms when people meet, and if you meet even your friends on a frequent basis, there is certain way you communicate, the jokes are, and how you interact, if you are serious or if you are playful, or same is with the culture. So I have always built very consciously the culture in the business I do. I want to see a high performing culture, which means that the employees are engaged. So we do a lot of engagement surveys in the company on a frequent basis in the companies I'm running. And engagement, you see companies easily performing 20-30% better than companies which are not really into cultures. And then because if you see all the different background I'm explaining, it's the culture will form. So if you don't really put an effort in, there will be a culture which you will not control, and you have no clue how that culture will be. So when it comes to culture in Alvotech, there is kind of 7 pillars to it. It's not just having a.
I was going to ask you what the framework is.
Yeah, it's not like having a party once a month. And you see some companies where the culture and the morale is down. They go to bowling, and they say you cannot bowling your way out of bad culture. It's not going to happen.
It's usually shared values, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
basically how I see it. First of all, you need to lay the ground on how people communicate and interact. You need to set the tone, you need to set what you want to see, and you need to have all the management and, of course, the employees to understand it. And it has to be about listening, respect, being able to work in team, and listening and those things. It's just a basic ground rules, how you raise your kids. I mean, are you screaming at the kids? Do they scream back? Which approach you want to have?
I try not to.
Yeah, you try not to. I know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just one pillar. The second pillar is the vision. The vision has always been in my companies to create something which few people have done. The vision of Alvotech before I started it was to create a best-in-class biosimilar company which would be one of the leading companies in the world before 2030. And that vision is there. And then you need to have all the strategies. You go to portfolio, you go to, as I mentioned, the service level, to the team, the cost, etc., etc. Break it all down, and then you have a full enterprise and business unit goals. Then you need to hire in the people which fits the culture. So people coming in, if you would have a line outside here, and I also, when I'm having the lectures in Harvard, and the question is asked, would you want to do this? And even there, the hands are not all up. Why would we do it? It's such a hard work. It's such high risk. It's so much effort. So you need to hire people which have the ambition,
the dynamism,
which hands-on, proactive, willing to work in team. They cannot put their ego ahead of the teamwork. So you need to find the right people. You need to engage them with giving them clear responsibility and authority, of course, to execute. I do that through the budgeting and the goal setting. And then basically you need to make sure the execution. So now everyone knows what to do. They know the vision. They know that if they execute, the vision will come through in a matter of years. So now it's about executing the right thing, meaning the things which are the priority, on time and right first time. That's critical. And then you need to give active feedback to the team, and you need to kind of make sure that bonuses, remuneration, and all that is part of the whole package. So this is the framework package, how we have done it. It doesn't happen by sitting down and talk about this once. You really need to be talking. It's like raising a kid. You need to be talking about this almost every day. You need to live it every day. And this is not just something on an annual party that you come and say, we have a great culture, we have a great atmosphere, we don't have to do anything. It's a constant work every day.
Yeah. I mean, I own a small business, and I could, even in that scale, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
So I can imagine what it's like when you hired 400 people last year, I think. Mm-hmm. So, with that amount of change as well and growth, what's that? That's probably 40% growth in 1 year?
In
for Alvotech, yeah.
We have gone from 2021 from 40 million to 600 million.
In how many years?
2021.
Okay, so that's an incredible amount of growth. So how do you then not only keep that constant work and keep those values and everything else and the culture being right, but do it while it's growing at such a rapid rate?
Yeah. What I do and what is important, if you start up a company which you want to build as a global company, you need to build it day one as you are going to scale it. Many entrepreneurs have a good idea and they basically go and start to execute. They have a product, but there is no way to scale it. They don't have any infrastructure to manufacture it. They don't have any sales channel, and they have basically nothing. So when you build out a company like Alvotech and the other ones which I've done, it's kind of a same approach. So yourself have to be, of course, able to be a different qualities of person throughout the life cycle. So you can imagine when I started, so coming back to that.
With no resources, right?
Yeah, in 2013, I decided to found Alvotech 2002. And I was asked, are you going to start in biosimilars? I said, I will not start now. I will start in 10 years. And I was asked, why do you want to start in 10 years? Because there was no regulatory environment to define how to develop those products.
Oh, that's interesting.
And neither in US and hardly in Europe. So all the ones with kickstarts, they basically ended up burning a lot of money because they didn't know how to do the clinical trials. And most of them went out. So
how did you have that foresight, though? Because that's an incredible level of foresight.
That's basically what you need to have. So
a crystal ball.
2002, I said, biologic will be the future of pharmaceuticals. We need to time it right. So I had to have the vision. Not only vision of biologic would be good, you had to time it. Because if you started too early, you would burn all the money. If you started too late, you would miss out of a huge pool of patent expiries on very interesting products. So 2013, I had to then I basically, on the phases I went through. So I had to have the vision to start on the right time, and then when you had that, I turned into a salesman. I had to sell everyone that this would be an industry. It was not an industry. It was not an industry.
Really, it wasn't there at all.
No, so I had
so
to
the Sandozes and people like that were they?
No, I mean it was GCSF, human growth hormone, EPO.
Okay.
None of them monoclonal antibodies.
Yeah.
None of those. And you had to go out and be the salesperson. You had to sell that. It's a good idea to invest 2013 in a biosimilar company, and we are going to be in Iceland. There's no resources there. And basically, there are capital restriction because Iceland basically went bankrupt. So if you put your money in, you might never get it back. If you come with your money, and then I'm going to lose a lot of money over 10 years, at least $1 billion. But in the end, it will be great. So I had to be that sales guy.
What type of investors went for that?
Yeah. So basically, that was the sales guy. So I had to find.
What investors did you get? Was it institutional? Was it like Icelandic? You didn't come from a billionaire family office.
No. The fundamental of the basis of why I managed to start the business, I had to find a strategic partner first. So I went to Hospira, which became Pfizer, and sold them the idea was going to build this company in Iceland. They could become a shareholder, and I would develop for them 3 biosimilars. And this was before anything happened.
Very creative, yeah.
And then I flew back with a $300 million, and we started to dig. And maybe by luck or not by luck, Pfizer bought then Hospira. And then Pfizer called me and said, we don't want those biosimilars. You can just take them. I said, I don't want to take them. You still owe me a few $100 million. And they said, yeah, but you have to take them, otherwise we cannot merge. And I said, why don't you keep them? I mean, yeah, we have biosimilar to Humira, and we don't want yours because we are much more advanced. So I said, okay, you just give me an offer to what you want to pay me, and I take it back. So I took it back, and then I managed to license it out again for a few $100 million. And I was, before Pfizer got to market, I came earlier than them.
Oh, really?
With the high concentration.
Yes. With the less developed products.
So that was the sales guy phase of my life. And I had to sell not only investors, the banks, and the strategic partners. And at this time, the entire company was me. And then basically...
How many employees did you have?
1 was me.
How did you do all that with one person?
No, I just made the PowerPoint myself. I met the people and...
And how long was that period?
It was less than 6 months. And then basically I got that all...
So you'd sold a business prior to that, right?
Sorry?
You'd sold a business or 2 prior to
that. Which one?
Prior to this 6 month period?
No. I just got in investors and business partner to...
But you had a track record?
Yeah, I mean, I built the Actavis from 99 employees to 3rd biggest in the world, and in 80 countries. That had has never been done and will never be done again.
Yeah.
So that was my.
But an incredible track record as a unicorn of a person too.
And I already started Alvotech, which I started to build out as a generic company in US, Central Eastern Europe and Asia. And I was already working with Hospira. I went to them 2009 and said, you have few biosimilars, the EPO, the growth hormone, the GCSF, registered in Central Eastern Europe. You're not selling anything. Let me pick it up and sell for you. And we sold more than they could produce. So I did not come into Hospira just with a PowerPoint. I mean, we had been working with them for a couple of years.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah. But that's an amazing story, though. And then so after the salesman phase, then what happened?
Yeah, so basically then you have to decide on technologies. I mean, it was huge stainless steel tanks. It was starting only then. Smaller tanks, disposable, quicker turnover time, very good for a lower dose medication. And so we had to decide on the technology. I was very keen on the disposable at that time, and I think it serves our portfolio very well. So then we had to decide on all that, and then, I mean, we built in Iceland around, all in all, over 40,000 square meter of facility, because I wanted to build for scale. I wanted to build back in 2013, so I would not go out of stock beyond 2030. So I really invested hundreds of millions into the facility. I had to build out the R&D, because I wanted to have everything in-house. It's a very complex R&D. I didn't believe in those companies which had some parts of R&D in-house, no manufacturing, outsourced here and there. I always said we have to have everything in-house.
Almost like a traditional.
Yeah, it's too complicated to it's complicated enough to develop a biosimilar. Takes 5-6 years. Used to cost 200 million, cost less now. And then to manufacture. So we built that all out, and in those details now I was always seeing and thinking about structures and buildings and all that. Halfway through that, I had to start to think about business development. So I put my business development hat on, and because we wanted to have all those products, invest the billion or lose the billion, if you want to call it that, which we did. You need to be able to sell. And then I have built in my career 2 business-to-business pharmaceuticals, but I've also built out full-fledged own field force in over 80 countries. And in this particular case, I wanted to build business-to-business because what happens then, you basically can pick and choose who's the best in US, who's the best in Europe, who's the best in Central Eastern Europe.
To commercialize, not manufacture.
Yeah. And then at the same time, my concept was that if you wanted to work with us, you had to pay for the access of the intellectual property, so you were co-investing into the R&D.
Okay.
And then the commercial partner would sell, and they would give me X% of their profit or their sales. So that's how we managed then to continue to fund the business, because from when we started to license out 2016, we can say, over 10 years, we have signed contracts of $1.6, $1.7 billion in license fees, where we have collected like $600-700 million. So this was allowing us to access the market, open up access to patients, but more importantly, allowing me to continue to scale, because I could not have funded this in any shape or form, if you will. And then, of course, once this was done, we start manufacturing, and then you have to start to build out all the supply chain. You have to make sure global supply chain is complex when you go into.
Well, I was thinking that when you talk about the commercialization, you managed to offset a lot of that risk, I suppose, especially like the US landscape when it comes to market access.
And then, of course, you need to build out the supply chain. You need to go into details there. You need to make sure you have the team. You need to make sure the culture is there.
So the product, it was almost all about the product, wasn't it, in some respects? Because you kept all the IP in-house when it came to the BD, the asset evaluation,
we own the IP always.
And the manufacturing. So that was all that high quality.
Yeah.
So everything got that product right, and then you had the relationships in play with the various pharma companies to
exactly.
to
Exactly. And then now we have...
Not many people are doing that, are they?
Sorry?
Not many companies do that
No,
in
and,
the biosimilar space.
and then, of course, to basically let the people have a chance to trade, especially the ones which came early in, we basically filed, or we registered the company at Nasdaq in US, in Iceland and Sweden. So we are trading at 3 places. Lot of roadshows where my person had to be in forefront of that. And today, I mean, I'm transitioning from CEO to executive chairman.
I saw, yeah.
And my role now is, in my mind, is to continue to evolve the business and business development, bringing in new opportunities, looking at new ways of thinking about products, and continue to expand. And because now the car and the engine and the wheels and tires are on the car, and with an oversight, I trust the team now extremely well to maintain the car and making sure that we are able to drive from A to B. But I see myself now, the most value is to kind of build further value, long-term value for the shareholders and, of course, patients and the rest. So when people ask...
That taps into the thing that probably separated you when you set the business up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exclusively that, isn't it, basically?
And if you look at those hats and the faces, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to be at scale, you need to think about it at the beginning. How do I be at scale, and how do I build it up? Which people do I hire which can scale it up with me, and what ingredient do I need? Nothing happens without funds. That's absolutely clear. So entrepreneur cannot just be a scientist or inventor, or, I mean, that's usually where, things
it's the ideas.
goes, and it can work, but in that case you really need to just get in a sponsor with you, which is then coming with the capital and can then help you to bring in the team to help you, because many entrepreneurs do not have the ability just to scale up and do all the operational stuff, being the visionaries, being the leaders. Salesman, you need to be a CFO when you're convincing at the beginning people to come in with money. So you need to have all those different forms of personality, if you will.
So I've seen trends of CEOs in the last 10, 15 years. Mm-hmm. There was a real period, particularly before the recent crash, if you like, where the CEOs were often had a financial background.
Yeah.
And then since then, I've seen it more be people from a BD or a commercial role. Yeah. And they've kind of got cross-functional prowess and just the ability to get stuff done. Yeah. If they need investment, they need to operate. Yeah. So and I've seen that almost like an evolution of the CEO.
Absolutely, I agree, because in the end, you don't need, you should not have a CEO which is the head of finance or head of engineering or head of this and that. You need a person with a very strong communication skill, very good social skills, and ability to understand the details of the business quickly and be able to take decision and implement fast. So if you are hiring in a CEO which is strength in one area but doesn't really have any of these, it's I think this is the evolution which we will be seeing. Also with AI.
I was about to say that.
I mean,
salesmanship is actually.
I mean, you more so going forward. AI will solve all the basics for us, and all the basic questions. So more importantly, you need to have social skills, ability to execute, to understand, and get into the details if needed, and support the team.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife about this with my children. And you're a man with 6 children.
Yeah.
So more companies than children.
Yeah. One more.
Yeah.
Still trying to negotiate.
Well, so I was talking about what the jobs are going to be like in the future. Yeah. And I was thinking the technical roles are often going to now be done by AI. So if anything, things like salesmanship and the ability to communicate, it sounds strange, but are almost going to be the prized assets. Yeah. Because there's lots of technical people now.
Yeah, I know.
And it's something that I think will benefit you in any role.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at accounting and auditing you look for abnormality AI.
Yeah.
If you look at
Paralegal.
paralegal, you're always looking at
software development. That's a massive one.
Historic, what happened in the same, in the same case historically, and what is the best argument? If you look at pharma, just in our company, I would think, without going, I haven't checked it, I would think 30-40% of the entire workforce are going through double checking and triple checking documents, which most likely AI validated up and running system would be more accurate than few hundreds of people which are doing this today for me. So this is gonna all change.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying to my basketball team I have at home, you need to think.
Oh, you're in a basketball team, do you?
No, I mean, I have a numbers to form
yeah.
a basketball team. So I'm saying to my kids, think about your skills, analytical skills, but also your social skills and being able to, as I said, execute and do something faster and better.
And so bringing it back to Alvotech then,
Yeah.
I want to really get clarity on something that really stands out and just emits to me as you're talking, is what sort of people thrive in an organisation and environment like Alvotech?
Yeah, I would basically say that it's the culture, which the format or formula which I mentioned, is that we look at people which have the ambition to really be part of a journey where you're creating something really unique. You come to work and you're basically you're producing medication which people cannot afford. So that's kind of the message to the people. And we want to open up access, and you need to be, and having a strong ambition to be part of that journey. You have to care. You have to care, and you have to see the vision in a similar light. If you're an individual which don't thrive in a team, that's usually where it breaks very quickly, because if your own ego is bigger than working with the team, that's usually you are very short-lived. And then it's basically you need to be hands-on, you need to understand the business, you need to understand the problem, you need to try to be proactive, foresee what's gonna happen, solve it before it happens. So I would say all this combination, but first and foremost, the go and no-go is always the teamwork. And when we're hiring people, we just expect them to have a good CV. Otherwise, they don't come to the interview. We expect them to have experience usually in the key jobs. So that's a fact. Of course, we double check that. Then it's all about the personality, the interview. The interview is just about the personality.
I think with my exec search hat on, if you like, it feels like the common denominator, the thing that isn't typical, is the conscientiousness, but not about their own personal role, but about the conscientiousness and care about the business.
Yeah.
So my role is leading to this team delivering on X, and having that kind of more holistic macro view.
Yeah.
Because then I suppose what happens is, to your other point that you said, you flag the problems early. Yeah. So you solve them before they happen, right? Because exactly. you're all helping each other out. Exactly. So you have small mini wars and battles all the time, but probably no big, screw ups where things are going to go horrendously wrong. Exactly. And that obviously comes top down from you, right? Yeah. So it does. That does stand out. Yeah. Along this incredible journey that you've had, Robert, there must have been some regulatory and operational setbacks. Yeah. Along the way. Yeah. I'd love to hear more about those. Yeah, I think and how you overcame them. Yeah. So if you look at everything we do, we kind of need to be, as I said, try to envision how things are going to evolve. And I can take a few examples. It used to cost, as I mentioned, easily $200 million to develop biosimilar. And you can imagine, like Alvotech and most of the others, was only affording to develop one product, start development every 12 months to 18 months, because it's simply too much investment if you are going to do more. Over 2 years ago, I sat down with the team and I said, I think the big patient studies, which are being done now and required, I think they will go. Go, what do you mean by go?
they will not be required in the future.
Why?
Because if you look at the PK study, if you have a passing PK study, the safety study has never failed, never fails. And that's why the strong belief was that the FDA in the end would revoke those. So I said to the team, let's set up now, increase the effort to do more cell line development. And we increased the analytical team.
Yeah.
And we started to develop biosimilars like those big clinical trials would be gone. So we went from one product per 12 months into one product every second month.
Wow.
So we had only few products, and of course you have companies like Samsung and Celltrion, which have a strong history and have had much stronger pipeline than us. And so with this in hand, we have managed to, and now basically the new guidance is coming out, is in draft and will be confirmed, that those studies are not needed. But we managed to use the time to transition from having a small pipeline to the biggest one in the whole industry. We have 30 products in the pipeline. We have 5 products on the market. And if we would have waited like everyone did, we would have still too small pipeline today. But this allowed us to kind of overtake most of the guys in the industry. And then, I mean, there is also dynamics in the industry because many of those products are very valuable. You saw Humira, biggest products in the world.
Yeah.
AbbVie did not develop it. They bought it by a German company.
Sorry.
Is your wife calling? Your boss?
It's actually a DIY.
Yeah, I would not shut that down. Are you in trouble? So they bought the company, this molecule, 2000. And they basically, just to a little bit underline the challenges sometimes we have. So it was only, and they then started to increase the price. I'm not telling any secrets because this is all documented well. And they increased the price substantially every year since then. It was only when the draft guidelines of Biosimilar Act came out, they filed over 300 new patents. And you are only allowed to patent one invention once.
Oh, really?
And it was not 8, 9, 10 years later that there were suddenly 300 new invention of the product. And if I remember, they got like 150 of those patents approved in US. So the US patent office is much softer than European to basically sort out those non-value add patents, which are double patenting and be critical. But this basically...
The US is less critical.
Yeah, much less critical. So that's the block we need to kind of work through. But at the same time, and the point is, like Humira went from low dose to high dose. And because, and those companies tend to switch only 1 or 2 years before the patent expire in the end, after taking few more extra years by patent thickening and blocking biosimilars to the market. And then they come and they switch from low dose to high dose. They convert all the patients to a new dose or new type of injection, which means that once the biosimilar comes out, they have the wrong basically dosage or wrong format, and they cannot go after the brand. So we are constantly, like when Humira came with high dose, I saw this 2016, 17, 18, this was coming. I said to my team, stop developing the low dose, let's just go for the high dose. Are you sure it will sell? It will cost you $250 million if you're wrong, I'm certain. And that happened. We were the first with the high dose.
It's a lot. There's a real trend of foresight.
And
do you have a crystal ball?
Then I mean, like Eylea was basically 2 milligrams, and it's an injection in eye. And
what's to cure what disease?
It's basically for ophthalmology. So basically injection in the eye. And what happens there is that if you get an injection into your eye, you can imagine going there once a month. And then they came with a high dose, 8 milligram, and that was just a rumor. How to basically go from low dose to high dose. Everyone was thinking, will it be successful? But that's dosed, I think, if I remember, 4 times a year. And for me, that was enough to understand that this was going to be something. So I asked...
Because you think that the experience of getting an injection every month in your eye.
Yeah. And the R&D team, I called them 2-3 years ago. And I said, Regeneron is coming with a high dose. Simulate how the new 8 milligram will look like. So they made me 5 different formulation, put on stability and everything. Bang, when they finally got to market, we had a perfect match with one of the 5 formulation we had. So now we are most likely 2 years ahead, at least, to the second one having the high dose. And of course, all the patients are being converted from low dose to high dose. So I could continue endlessly here on how you need to be in the forefront of what is going to happen. But overall, I mean, you also have issues which hit you, and you are maybe not...
With what, sorry?
Which hits you and you're not ready for.
Yeah.
And that will happen. And I kind of say to my guys, I mean, if you want to go to a destination, and you hit a roadblock, you don't just sit there and wait for someone to knock on your window and say, can I help you, sir? It's basically like the GPS. It's just recalculating. You just figure out a different route. You are still going to the same destination, but you might have to do a little here and there. So the life is throwing at you challenges in our industry every day. So, I mean...
have you had a period where the external narrative is very negative?
No, I mean, I think the environment in
any of your companies, that is.
Yeah, I mean, the environment in biosimilars have been evolving. You know, it's a new industry. People did not really know how the industry would be, how you would sell those products, how competitive, basically, it would be. I think with the first 2-3 launches, everyone understood it's more competitive than people assumed because of the investment you have to make. So that's why we transitioned from few products to 30 products in the pipeline. Because more shots on goal you have, the more important and more chances you have to grow. And overall, so you have challenges, you try to predict some of them, you try to act on some of them before they happen. And then, of course, I mean, when you have a problem and an issue, then you need to just dive into it. You need to understand what happened, not to find someone to blame, just to make sure that what happened will not happen again and is permanently fixed.
Yeah, and so one thing I haven't actually put my finger on the pulse yet is why you set the business up in Iceland.
Yeah, yeah, I wonder myself quite often.
Is it like a fulfilling sentiment? We're an Icelandic man looking to invest in a local area and give people jobs, because I don't understand that.
Yeah, so Iceland, first of all, is in the middle of 2 biggest markets in the world. So biologics in US is 60-65% of world sales, and Europe is 20-25%. So you have roughly 85% there. So we are strategically located between those 2 supermarkets, if you will, big markets. That was number 1. Number 2, the patents in Iceland, even though that was not the main issue, there are hardly, back in time, were hardly any patents for biologics in Iceland. So you have a full freedom of operate, which means, of course, R&D, which is fine. But also, when you are stockpiling for a launch, it can take you up to 6 months. So if you have to wait for patent expiry, you kind of need to start stockpiling commercially after that. So that was interesting. But the main point is that I'm Icelandic, and
it was nice to contribute.
It was my decision. If you look at,
you're from humble roots, right? You're self-made, successful entrepreneur.
Sure.
So it's nice to see someone.
Yeah, of course.
We need more of that actually in a lot of Western countries, don't we?
Yeah, And historically, the fishing industry has been the key industry in Iceland. We believe in a couple of years we will exceed the entire EBITDA in the whole fishing industry in Iceland as a one company.
As one company?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that's the impact which we will...
That's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
And what's so I imagine if I'm an Icelandic government that they must really, really appreciate your support, partnership and help.
Yeah, I think overall, what you always expect and hope for at least is that the government is not in your way, and they kind of leave you alone and come when they are invited for, cutting ribbons. But overall, the business environment is pro-business in Iceland. Leaving aside jokes, it is the tax environment is favorable. It's
to businesses, not to...
Yeah, it's 18% for businesses. I could have paid less, but I think it's a fair compromise between, contribution from a company and what is being collected. We have a high education, we have a good universities, so it's a bit more effort.
Very, very safe as well.
Very safe.
Yeah.
The weather is not the best, but we have quite a few people from Asia, and I always recommend them not to move to
Does
Iceland.
it rain a lot, like it does in the UK?
Yeah, it's basically...
I don't mind cold, it's the rain.
You can benchmark it against UK. So you say it's rain a lot, it's a gloomy. So it's 2 times the rain, it's 2 times the gloomy, it's definitely 2 times the wind, and half the temperature. That's basically...
But you've got the geysers and the hot...
Yeah. But you can go and see that for 2-3 weeks and then you're gone. So it's a different... And then in January you have like 3.5 hour sunlight.
Yeah.
It's darkness.
That's probably the only thing I'd really struggle with. So with that in mind, what if you were going to summarise the main things that attract people when you bring people in, as you so called it, all these different nationalities to Iceland, what are they?
So basically people see that Iceland is very safe. And which is, still today, you can raise your kids in Iceland like I did. All the kids can go out play.
That's so nice, isn't it?
And come home themselves for a dinner. The education, the hospital, dentist is all free, of course, included in the taxes, which is different from most other countries. And I think a lot of people appreciate a lot Iceland. It's like this adventure kind of with the volcanoes and glaciers. So many people which come there and live there, they stay. They stay and they spend time to see what Iceland has to offer, if you will.
I always thought Iceland was a country with good values because of the way they dealt with the financial crisis.
Yeah, the standard of living in Iceland is usually top 3 in the world.
Yeah,
and
I watched a BBC documentary and they were number 2 on healthiest food.
Yeah, and the longest living
like
people are usually from Iceland or Japan.
Yeah.
We have 2 things in common. The Icelandic fish, we ship a lot of it to Japan. And Iceland is like Japanese, like a little bit the alcohol. So I guess that's basically the secret sauce,
Imagine the Icelandic can handle their alcohol more than most.
Yeah,
the Viking heritage.
In Iceland, believe it or not, until 1988, I think, the beer was not allowed.
Oh, really?
So it was no beer, because everyone thought that if it was a beer, people would be drunk from morning to evening. And then when you went to a pub, you had a non-alcohol pilsner, and they put a vodka shot in it. That was basically the beer in Iceland. So that is all behind us. But
yeah. What year was that?
I think it was 1988, I believe, when the beer was allowed in Iceland. But since then, of course, the drinking habits of Icelanders have improved a lot, because you were just drinking strong liquor before that.
And so how has the tougher capital market climate influenced the way you've made key decisions on Alvotech to a rapid growth period?
Yeah, I think, I started Alvotech in a currency restrictive environment.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So basically, if you had invested, or you would invest in Iceland, you had to ask the central bank for a permission to get your money back. So we kind of have been operating from day one in a restrictive environment. And then, of course,
complete accountability.
Yeah,
Day one. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's quite good.
Yeah, and then you know, every year or every second year, I was in fundraising, so it was always a very difficult journey. So it was never an easy journey. You know, the capital market is nice, and they want to give me so much money. It was never like that. So I mean, we have been disciplined a lot as a company to live within the boundary of difficult financial markets, if you will.
You mentioned something earlier, which I'll come back to, which is you could have too much money than was needed. Does that become an issue at any point, or can that become almost counterproductive?
I think it is, definitely.
Well, because it becomes too easy to make bad decisions.
No, I can make an example. I mean, the COVID vaccines.
Yeah.
All the money which was printed, and then once the COVID was gone, I'm not going to name any names. There was a lot of layoffs and cost cuttings because they just went sleeping. Was just printing automatically so much cash they've never seen it before, and then when that stopped, they were not ready.
I always thought it was funny that the media really went after AstraZeneca when they had the vaccine which didn't make any money because they partnered with Oxford University, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
And yet they got such bad press, but they had the same really amount of regulatory barriers as everyone else. So I'd love to delve into the person behind the company.
Yeah, let's do that.
Or the 7 companies.
Yeah.
So the things that stand out when I do some research on you and I talk to people about you is hugely successful serial entrepreneur, but is someone, you know, you want 7 children, so that puts you in the 0.11% of the global population.
Yeah.
I'm done at 3.
Yeah.
And
10% in Iceland.
Yeah. Best to do.
Yeah.
But you've also faced some adversity, and you know, and so you had a near-death experience with a cycling incident.
Yeah.
Where you hit a stationary vehicle.
Yeah.
So how did that influence your decision making and life?
No, I mean, first of all, I've always been an extremely competitive person.
Yeah.
I still is.
Do you play sport a lot when you were younger?
Yeah, I have played more or less all sports under the sun.
What was your favourite?
I liked Taekwondo, and I was competing a lot in running, competing then in cycling. I love skiing. I like to play any squash or table tennis. I more or less
rugby?
love sport. No, that is not in Iceland.
I think you'd like it though.
Yeah,
I
might
have to
be.
say, I like rugby.
But so I decided when I was 40 to cycle, and I started to compete. And I realized that genetically I was a very good cyclist. But I was 40 years old. I just started. So I started to
great calves ready to go.
Yeah. I started to compete, and hating losing, I was training usually 20 plus hours per week.
Oh, wow.
I just woke up 4 in the morning. I went into the snow and rain and what have you on a spikes on my tires to train before I went to work in Iceland.
How long? That must have been, 2-3 hours a day?
Yeah. Easily. Yeah. And then so
you left those 7 kids at home.
Yeah, I did not have them all then, because when I stopped cycling I had more time to have more kids. Yeah. So I saw when I was 40, becoming 43, I had a chance to be on time trial, which is basically ultimate cycling, I think, because there is no windshield, there is no teammate. You just have to prove how fast you can go. And that I would be definitely top 3 time trial cyclist in Iceland, competing with guys 20 years younger than me. And year before we set a record on a track which I was not going to compete at, because at this year I was going to basically, all the time trials, they have a different tournaments, you collect points. So I wanted to really focus on top 3 and then there. And then everyone started to text me the night before, I'm going to hit your record and it's going to be gone and blah, blah, blah. So I ended up, because the registration was still open, I just registered. There was a 90-kilometer time trial, if you will. And I always, even though I competed a lot on this track, it was average 3 degrees hill. And it was maybe 9-ish in the evening. Sun is low, but still straight in your eyes when you are at the downhill. And during the hours, so of course the road was not closed in the evening, a lot of traffic. But traffic is usually there at 90, 100 kilometers. So there I'm cycling, I make a turnaround where you turn around to go down. And I don't remember anything after I turned around. And then, based on the Garmin, I was cycling for 60 seconds. And there was a lot of traffic there. And apparently one of the car just stopped in the middle of the road, even though it was a parking 5 meters below, and was letting the dog out. So most likely what happened is that if I saw the car, which I don't know, then most likely I thought it was a high-speed car, which I would never catch up on. And I think most likely was blinded by the sun, because I see on the Garmin I went from 48 kilometers down to 0 in 0.0 seconds. No braking, and when you're on time trial, you hit with a head into the car. So I had that double spine fracture unstable. So I woke up in the ambulance, and it was really, I mean, I was pretty sure I was not going to make it, because the pain and it was just absolutely insanity. Yes. I lost conscious for, I think, around 1 hour, because my Garmin was still on me. So I saw that afterwards, when the ambulance was driving, it was more than 1 hour. They took more than 1 hour to take me off the street in case I would be fractures. And then I was in intensive care for, I think, around 2 weeks. I don't remember a lot from that. And then I was in a kind of brace, because they were first gonna do an open surgery, and then you would have kind of cemented the spine together and
fuse them together.
Fuse them. I would not have any mobility. But just before that happened, they basically decided, let's just put them in a brace and let them lay in bed for 90 days. And that was, again, I knew it was 90 days. So you were laying on your back for 90 days. You woke up 6 in the morning. You fell asleep 12. So 6, when it was 7, it was like a week. And when it was 7 to 8, it was like another week. And I had then just signed the contract with Hospira for 300 million. They were always calling my PA saying, where is Robert? Why is he not joining the meetings? And nobody knew if what would happen to me.
So they didn't tell them?
They said first 2 weeks was I was very busy, and then I had a minor cycling accident, and then the truth came out. But I mean, for me, it was like a project. I was just counting the days, and I was.
What was the chances of you being completely paralyzed?
I think the chances in this accident not being dead or paralyzed. It was to survive not being paralyzed or dead was maybe 1%. Jesus. Because it was such a high speed. If the ankle of my head would have been 1 or 2 degrees up and down, I would have ripped my head off.
That is unbelievable, isn't it?
And then once, so basically it was really...
Your wife and kids were just...
It was so challenging. The kids, of course, were traumatized.
How old were the kids at that point?
They were, they were 14 and 11.
14.
The two
Which is like, need a dad.
And they were really, really, it was really tough for them. And especially the oldest one, she never cycled and doesn't want to cycle.
Yeah.
And I remember, I mean, I kind of tried to stay clear and, this is going to take 90 days. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to, go out of bed. And because I was going to break the ground for Alvotech, I was going to do that on day 92 or 93. And you can see the.
That's a good thing to have in your mind, though.
And the videos or picture of me, I'm not doing any groundbreaking. I'm hanging to the shuffle because I was so dizzy for 12 months after that. I was just making sure I wouldn't fall. I was not shuffling anything, but
So you did go though. You did go.
Yeah, I managed.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you didn't.
I went out.
What, in a wheelchair or?
No. I went out of bed after 90 days and then gradually just...
And you could walk after that?
Yeah, I was the main issue was I was so dizzy. When you don't use your limbs, it was like, it took me...
That's actually better than I thought it would have ended up. I would have thought the spine would have...
No, it managed to, because when you are in a brace, you cannot really move it. And so even though it's an unstable fracture...
It's like a cast around your body, basically.
No, it was cast from here to here.
Wow.
It's
not like your arms where they can't do this all the time.
So basically it took 90 days to grow to stable bone again. So if I do an MRI, you see it's still there where it was fractured. But then it was all the, lot of dizziness. For 12 months, a lot. Borderline falling. I had the feeling I need to throw up most of the day, and losing balance, and after not using some of the arms and the shoulders, it was very painful just to move for 12 months. So, but it all went well. I think the only time in the bed was a day. I think it was day 7. That was the only day when I broke down, because I think my daughter came in and...
yes, the kids. It was the kids, isn't it?
No, it was basically, I said to her, I'm so happy I'm now at day 8. And she said, Dad, no, it's day 7.
Oh.
And this one day I lost, I just collapsed. That was only time I collapsed.
Yeah.
And then
amazing, really.
I got iPad on a stand like this. So you can work like this for maybe 10 to 20 minutes, then the blood is out of your arms, and then you need to take a pause. So I started to operate, maybe, I don't remember, maybe 30 days into it.
Whereas now with AI, you could probably just have by voice and things like that.
Yeah. That was not that.
Yeah. How many years ago was that?
2013.
13.
So it's just over 12 years.
What an experience.
Yeah. But I had a lot of other injuries.
How did that shape your view on life? Did it change? Or?
It changed in many ways. I think it just sharpened my eagerness to continue to build and do things.
Was it? So that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because part of me thinks, screw that. I'm financially stable.
Yeah.
Spend time with the kids. But I suppose, if anything, it made you double down on your purpose.
No, I basically, with Alvotech, that was always the ultimate dream.
Yeah.
And I was going to do it, no matter what.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
And your children work at the company now?
There is one working for me. The eldest one used to work for me all the summers, and she is finalizing the Master in Finance from LSE.
Oh, wow.
And she has been working more in the banking industry with Jeffries. But knowing all the pharma, it's for her, it opens up so many opportunities. And of course, for the other kids, I'm encouraging them to come for summer jobs. And because that is basically what will make things different, or give them more opportunities to enter into better schools, and at the end of the day, because you have all those bright kids out there. So
I wasn't sure if culturally in Iceland it's more the norm to kind of have these kind of families, a bit like Germany, where there's kind of which I quite like, actually.
Yeah, but
they share the values, and it doesn't change.
Yeah. And
rather than the UK where it's kind of hyper catalyst and
I started to work running with newspaper when I was 11.
Yeah.
I have been working since I remember myself. Usually 2-3 jobs with school throughout always, and I think. If you don't get anything and you cannot take anything for granted, and you know that you have to put the effort in, because this generation now overall gets more stuff. We all know that we are spoiling the kids a bit too much, so it changes how their perspective of life. They don't need to work as hard. They don't need to do as much. And even with my kids, I have to explain to them, guys. It's not that you need to go to work so you can buy a pair of shoes. You need to go to work to understand what it is to work.
And purpose and fulfillment.
And purpose and understand what it means.
That's my worry actually with AI and everything. Is if it becomes too easy, then people's self-esteem and things often.
You will always need at the end. A person decision to run, because it's only so much. At least next 20 years, which AI can do. As we discussed earlier, you need to be the face and the front and be the decision maker. But AI will be an amazing tool to make our life much easier.
And how did someone that was super successful in the 2008 financial crash, how did losing a large proportion of your fortune, how did you come back from that? I mean, that's real. Again, that's real adversity.
It's a little bit like my accident and like everything. You know, I don't know if I can say it here. I'm still gonna say it. I just said fuck it. It's the same as when I crashed. Fuck it. I mean, I was laying in bed, half dead. I lost all my fortune. I could not change it. I could not. I could have spent it years on thinking about this car which was there. Who was the car? Why did she do it? Why was it not parked? Why this? Why that? I mean, my focus was getting out of bed, getting the shovel, and dig the hole, and start building Alvotech.
Yeah.
And same with my fortune, of course. When you have a lot of money and you lose it, I would just say all. And then you have to have kind of the belief that you can do it again. And again, in a classroom, I asked once, would you do the same? And one of the questions, and also the teacher said, because they were hesitant, and then he asked, why would you not do it? And then many said, because it's too much investment and I could never do it. So I said, I grabbed that moment. I said, okay, you have your wallet, guys, yeah? How much is in it? Can you tell me what's in it? I only have $10, I only have $50, I have credit card. So all three of you had more money than I had when I started the journey with the $1 billion I needed.
Yeah.
So you would be in a better position to basically start to build this company than I was in. Why would you not do it?
Yeah.
People are constrained. And
they create barriers.
And if you're gonna start a business, of course you have to have a vision. You have to have a different hats. You have to think it through. But if you're gonna not start until you have it all sorted out, everything sorted out, you will never start.
Yeah, perfection. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And basically, when you start, like I said, with the GPS recalculating, you're going there, but you might have to be very flexible which route you take and which street to take. And
it's almost like the Jurgen Klopp 1 foot in front of another.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think perfection can be the root cause of procrastination a lot of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Chasing it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, the obvious question is, what still keeps driving you at this scale?
Ambition.
So what's the North Star? Where are we going?
No, I mean, I like to create. I like to build. I like what I've been doing because it's affecting people's lives around the world. I mean, the scale I built in Actavis back in time. The year I started Alvotech, which was my last year in Actavis, I was producing 3 tablets per human being on the planet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I had like 800
billions.
Different molecules, not SKUs. And we were basically coming first with most things going off patent. Increasing access has been what I've done since 1999 for patients around the world. I was the first with, for instance, Tamiflu in US. I've been first with so many molecules throughout the world where people can finally afford and buy the best-in-class therapeutics, if you will. So this business has a big purpose. I mean, it's not just you're going to go there to make money. That has never been my vision. My vision is to create, build, and make it a successful and being able to help people around the world. At the same time, building up amazing team which can then continue with the business or expand into different companies if that's what they wish. So this is what drives me. And
have you ever had a patient come in meet the team that's had an amazing benefit? Or
Yeah, we have done quite a lot of videos of that.
I think that's quite powerful,
Yeah.
isn't it? Well, very powerful, yeah.
Especially people which, we have interviews, people say, I couldn't afford this. And believe it
Thanks
or
to
not,
what you're doing.
biologics in many countries in the world, the government is deciding, even Iceland has been like this, even though it's changing now, was like, we are going to spend X amount into biologics, and once that money is done, we need to select the most critical patients. So you maybe select the 5% or 10% which really needs the drug. The rest is just treated with old school small molecules or something else. Because, and this is Central Eastern Europe, you have this all. And throughout Asia, you have this all. So being able to bring in biologics, high quality, same product, up to 90% discount. Now you can basically treat much more patients, if you will.
Yeah. And so where is the next, what's next then? What's the next year in terms of key milestones that you're aiming for with Alvotech?
We are basically expecting to launch 3 products into the US market end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
We
Through
have,
partnership?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
you have one partner or do you have multiple?
We have 20 partners around the world. Key one is in US is Teva.
Mm-hmm.
2 key ones in Europe are Stada and Advance. And so we are working with all the key companies throughout the world.
Sounds like it.
So the pipeline is there. We will see a multiple of launches throughout. And then, we are always looking at the portfolio at any given time. As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, is that there's no need to come number 10 to market because the market has been opened and you don't need to be there. It's just waste of time and money and resources. So we are always looking at areas where we believe it's difficult to develop, where we think there will be no one coming in and there is a need for. And longer term, we might evolve the business into even more new areas when it comes to portfolio, if you will.
And when it comes to identifying these new assets and molecules that you look to acquire and develop, everyone's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
I know you use data and everything.
Yeah.
Is there some kind of instinctive thing that you, or gut
Yeah,
feel, or something with you that you think is your secret sauce or something?
It's basically you go through, we can say that's exactly what we talked about. It's almost like a AI. It's a human AI in the past for me. So you do all the analyticals, you do all the stuff, and then basically you need to then basically take a human decision. And you can see, for instance, Humira and Entyvio. Entyvio was just selling for a few $100 million per year. They made a head-to-head study against Humira. It's a same indication. And we said if they are doing head-to-head, which will take them to publish and all that fairly long time, they must be confident it's a better product than Humira. So we did that. And then, of course, it's an $8 billion product today, and we are the first in the lead.
Yeah.
So, AI would never help you with that.
No.
In the end, you need to have smart people in the room with you and have
the Robert Crystal Ball needs to take action.
And then say what is going to happen. And then you need to discuss, once the patent goes off, is this the format of the product? Will it be higher dose? Will it go from infusion to auto-injector or how will the product look like? So it's, and then of course you look at the patent landscape, how complex that is. Can you circumvent the patents? That's a key. And it's very important if you're going to get through the jungle of patent thickening, especially in US. And then of course, some of the products are more complex than the others. So we take this all into consideration. And then, of course, we have market intelligence, who is considering, who has been talking about it. We talk to we have 20 different partners which also contribute ideas because they don't find anyone else with anything which they like. So it's a combination of smart people in-house, strong analytics, our clients and customers to support that also.
So where's Alvotech going to be in 10 years?
Alvotech in 10 years, I mean, we believe that even sooner will be top 3 biosimilar company in the world. And in 10 years, I would assume it's one of the bigger pharma companies, if you will, because I assume in 10 years the company will continue to evolve, new products will come on board, and we will continue to grow the company.
And I've got time for one more question, Robert.
Yeah.
Who are the people along your career that, I don't know if you've had maybe mentors or figureheads or people that you look up to that have given you some kind of anchor point?
Yeah. It's a very good question, because I have many of them. I meet them every day. I have never had any role model one, but people which impress me, which I talk to and tell me something I didn't know, points things to me which I never thought of. So, and just seeing a person which is dedicated is impressive. I talk a lot to people when I'm in Iceland or in my businesses. I like to go and sit down. And what impresses me is just to see personalities and teams which are all engaged and eager. And
I know what you mean there. Actually.
And there is not one.
Surprisingly rare, isn't it? I find to get consistency in those feelings.
Yeah, and it is really. I mean, you know, I stand up and I walk and think to myself, "Wow, this was impressive. Impressive person.
Yeah.
Impressive personality."
But there was no one. So really, it's
No.
been. There's no one other person. It's been
No.
It's kind of the people that have inspired you along the journey.
Yeah.
Almost internally as opposed
Yeah.
to externally.
Yeah.
That's even more impressive, I think. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think. There's no celebrity
No.
business leader.
No.
What about on the from a value or across history that has done something you think?
No, I
wow,
think
that stands out to
I
me.
don't take me wrong. I mean, there is a lot of impressive people.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Though.
But
There's no singular mentor.
No, but my way of running the businesses have usually been how I think is the best to run businesses. I usually, and a lot of things which applies to businesses, best practices, is common sense. You can add to it, of course. I do different route. I prefer to improve myself by talking with people. So
I see what you mean.
So most of my knowledge and understanding of life is basically asking questions and listening.
Yeah, curious.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you allow yourself to be present with your thoughts.
Yeah.
Probably when you're exercising, I imagine.
Yeah, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you able to cycle still?
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
Yeah. Wow. I'm not allowed to compete. But
running, though, I imagine is quite...
No, I cannot.
Yeah, that's
because
impact.
of the back.
Yeah,
it's really tough.
So do you compete in cycling?
No, I don't compete
I was
anymore.
gonna say.
No. But the competition is that I cycle a lot in France.
Yeah.
When we go there during summer, my wife started to cycle with me maybe 6-7 years ago. So I'm just waiting for the year where she overtakes me, because I used to, look back and say, is there a flat tire? and now it's more like.
You don't look your age.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look younger than your age.
Yeah. But anyhow.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Yeah, it was really nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was great.
Was it okay?
I loved it. Yeah, I mean, I feel personally inspired, to be honest, with my own business and stuff. Yeah. I feel that's good.